Use new better.
Jeremy, Salty, Kelly, it's so great to see you. I wish I could be there with you in Afghanistan for the grand opening of the Innovation Hub. It just looks so cool, even seeing the background. And I know many who are watching this wish they could be there as well to see the excitement on the kids' face. And thank you so much for going there to set everything up, to be a part of this really special time where we know many kids are going to have the opportunity to learn in new ways that are going to be great for their future. And so just had a couple of questions, thought maybe the audience would be interested in hearing from you. And maybe first, Jared, for you, can you kind of just tell us how the Innovation Hub is going to impact children in Afghanistan and especially girls?
Yeah, no doubt. So we're actually in the Innovation Hub right now, and this is a first of its kind in Afghanistan. And so we had some people come through and be involved in this already, and they are blown away by what they're seeing in here. And what they're seeing is really the latest in education, from not only the design of the building, but also the methodologies. And so the technology that's in here is going to be what's the best schools around the world. And so that exposure is really what we hope is the launching pad that'll be for new horizons for the girls that are going to be coming in here. And we were just working with a couple of them yesterday, and just to see the lights go on when they capture an idea or a concept. And we really hope that that's going to continue and really spread where the girls feel empowered to use technology to advance their own careers and advance their country.
Fantastic. Great. Salty, just could you tell us a little bit? I know you're kind of the expert here on this subject of the Innovation Hub and how the teaching works, but could you just explain the method of teaching and what makes the Innovation Hub so unique?
Yeah. And would I have 45 minutes? So, you know, it's a combination of a lot of things, but it really goes to what Jeremy was saying, that we want to promote critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. And everybody talks about that. We know that the skills needed for the 21st century and the fourth industrial revolution, but it's how to get to that. And for us, while we're using a lot of technology, we call it a Teal Plus program. It's a technology-enabled active learning. So it's an active learning model, in essence, where the students are at the center and are participating and engaging in what they're learning. And to facilitate that, we need an environment, first of all. You have to have an environment that you take the kids out of being in desks and rows, where you sit based on either your abilities, or you sit at the back of the room because your last name is Salt. So that active learning environment, we're enabling it with technology. To enable personalization, we have technology that allows children to go at their own pace, to go at their own skill level, to discover things where the facilitator or teacher doesn't have to be the smartest person in the world. The technology can actually help them and adapt to their skill. So that allows us to then move forward with those goals that Jeremy said. And all the curriculum is really a lot of different examples that we've seen in history. Somebody could say project-based, or you know, back in my day, it was a constructionist approach. But really, it's about putting the student at the center. We want them to become the leaders. We rely on them on figuring things out and being the smartest person in the room. And when you do that, you promote these other skills. And most of the technology that we adopted allows that. It's adaptive. It's also accessible to all groups of students. Because of what we use, you could be a highly gifted and talented student in one regard, or you could be a struggling student and you're still going to see success in here. And that's all very purposeful, from the design to the curriculum that we use. And it's really just about promoting the students to think for a change versus being passive. And that's the simplest way to put it, is they are active engaged versus being passive. And there's a lot of behind the scenes techniques to that.
Well, and speaking of those behind the scenes, none of this would be possible without Jamf. So Jamf is the power that drives this innovation hub at the Matter innovation hubs around the world. And so we're really grateful for their partnership in making this happen for us.
Yeah, boy, thanks for saying that, Darren. I also want to give a shout out to the Bayat Foundation, our friends, dear friends and partners for many years. And I think, of course, without Jamf and the buyouts, none of this would be possible. So a huge thanks. And maybe lastly, Kelly, would you be able to just maybe show us some of the features of, Dave's talking about this unique model of learning, and maybe just show us how this is all going to play out with some of the features.
There you go.
Okay, so let me switch the camera here. All right, so we have this Jeremy. So we have Apple TVs that were in here, not anymore. So the Apple TVs allow us to be able to have students share their experience with their classmates.
They're hidden back.
Oh, they're hidden. So that's important because it's just another way for the kids to engage with each other and be able to show other students what they are doing without having a teacher come in and basically do it for them. And to do that, we are utilizing iPads. So we have a whole bunch of iPads in here. These are set up as shared iPads. So we have 10 students that can log into a single iPad. So it allows us to really bring that technology further than you would at a typical one-to-one model with one student per iPad. Being able to keep those all locked up. Thanks, Lock and Charge. And then moving into over here, we also do have some MacBooks. They are locked up currently, but this can be really helpful once we have students that are getting more advanced with any coding that we're doing. So we're going to start real simple, real fun, but then of course, like anything, as we continue to do this as often as possible, kids will need to have something a little bit more powerful. So we have those ready for our students as soon as they reach that level. Moving into our flex space. So we have all sorts of fun stuff here. So we have several iPads with several different items that we use here. So these are all different Osmo tools that we use. So Osmo Words, Tanagram, all sorts of really fun stuff. And the kids love these. I love these too. They're not just for someone that's younger, and they're actually really powerful. And what's really cool about these too is that some of these will actually teach you how to code and you don't even realize it. So kind of building the blocks of helping kids understand, I'm moving a character on the screen, I'm actually coding, but you don't know it because when you think of coding, you think of, someone that's, hacking on their computer and they have a million different screens. It's not like that. So being able to get them to that place with fun tools like these. So some really fun Osmo stuff that we have here. And then we also have our Sphero balls. So we were actually playing with these earlier today. Salty was doing a really great job teaching our facilitators how to code with them. So what you're seeing on the ground is actually a little obstacle course that Salty had them go through and program to follow the tape there. So it was one of those things that you think would be a lot easier. But when you're first getting in there, making sure, we're counting with the tape that you can see here. So there's actually different measurements here to help you with the coding so that you're able to actually figure out, the time and the speed for your ball to complete that course. And so that's been something that we've been working on. That's been really, really fun.
Oh.
And then,
Behind you. Yeah,
oh, yep. And then we have, our Osmo Sphero ball, or not Osmo, our Sphero balls. So a whole bunch of them in here. Some of our girls were playing with them yesterday, both just kind of moving them around the room, but then also doing some simple coding with Jeremy as well, which was a lot of fun to see.
So can you describe this room? Like, what is the purpose of this room?
Sure. And I'm going to do what I call an alibi and add one thing on. When we talk about the curriculum and what we do, while we have some of the robotics and Spheros and Osmo, we really follow a lot of what Apple provides. We follow a learn to code curriculum, or everyone can code, and we have everyone can create. So we use all of the Apple suite and then different apps that enhance that. And what's lucky for us is we actually have, in addition to the Sphero curriculum, we even have a curriculum guide for Osmo. We have curriculum guides for everything Apple does: GarageBand, iMovie, Pages, all of those different things have a curriculum guide for the facilitators to help them go through that process. We also use the Apple Teacher Program to train our facilitators. So they get the free online training from Apple, and they do the Apple Teacher Certification. But this room, in essence, is that flexible classroom. And one of the reasons we decided to go from having one room to two is most of the countries we go to have anywhere from 40 to 50 kids in a group. And we purposely don't let more than 20 to 25 max come in the other side because we want to keep it smaller. So we made another side so you can split the group. The other reason we built this was because the teachers were saying, and we were doing workshops with the teachers, and they're like, well, it's great if they're in here, but how do I teach differently? Because we really are talking about teaching differently. I said, we could do that in a regular classroom without the tech. And so what we're modeling here is a room that's got some flexible seating, and over on this side where it's kind of, we were doing it earlier, direct instruction. At this table, the teacher might have 4 to 8 kids or 6 kids, and they're doing direct instruction. It might be on maths or reading or whatever the topic is. Meanwhile, the children are in other stations in here. Maybe they're sitting and reading a book. Maybe they're working on some art projects, or maybe they're doing the same subject matter the teacher had. But in fact, this room is differently set up today than it was yesterday. It also works as an overflow, because we can fold these tables out of the way. Everything here folds up, and then we have a giant space. So you could teach whatever you wanted in here, but it's not the controlled, everybody's sitting at a desk, or worse, which you'll see in most of the developing countries, are benches with a higher bench where you sit and the teacher is at the front of the room and you're just writing in a notebook. So we're trying to give them a model for how they could actually take the strategies and techniques we're using in the teal room, or the technology-enabled area, active learning, to over here. And we are also finding that it's just a great overflow room also. But that's the purpose.
So all this is opening up tomorrow, so we're just thrilled to have this. This is almost like a culmination of a dream that's been in the makings for years and years and years to come. And so just wanted to make sure that all of our supporters out there recognize that this is not possible without the great support of Jamf and Apple and the Buyout Foundation and so many others that are making this day tomorrow happen. So we're so thrilled for that.
Well, Kelly, Salty, Jer, thank you so much. This has been incredibly helpful. The facility looks beautiful. Appreciate you guys and your dedication to be there for the opening and to work with the kids and to train the facilitators. It's just all really, really meaningful stuff, and so grateful for you guys. And thank you so much for taking this time to teach the rest of us what's going on. So have a great day. And we'll check in soon. Yeah. All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks so much.
Take care.
We'll sign off.
See ya.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.